I don't want to hear AI reggae music. It's clear Spotify are financially incentivized to promote these AI artists. So the voice was off, the song lyrical structure was off, and the music feel was off. It makes me feel I'm being lied to. AI trying to gaslight me. And I thought, well, this artist is one of the biggest, one of the most well-known, famous reggae artists. Why would they fake a tune and release it as theirs when it's clearly been inspired by or created by AI? Do not play me any songs from this artist again. AI isn't going anywhere. I, I understand that people are concerned about many aspects of it in terms of how it's going to impact society, jobs, the impact on the environment, um, people losing the ability to think and question. But there are some good aspects and good things about AI. But for all of the positive aspects, there are a few negatives that are directly or immediately concerning when it comes to art. AI has allowed people who previously weren't creative or were only maybe a little bit creative to now produce what looks like great works of art, music, film. Um, and on the surface, this content that is put out by these AI models looks good, but when you start to drill into it, you can start to see or you notice the imperfections, the little details that give the fact away that it's actually AI generated and it's not real, which on the face of it is not necessarily a bad thing or evil thing. But where I start to get concerned is when these pieces of AI art are being presented as genuine, authentic art, real movies, real people, real life situations, real art, real music. And it's actually quite bad when you know what you're looking for in terms of the quality. And I think that's what's brought rise to the term AI slop. And because it can be presented or produced so quickly and easily, it's flooding the platforms, your timelines, your Instagram, your YouTube, because it's so easy to produce and it's sloppily created. We've got the term AI slop. And reggae music hasn't escaped the AI slop. There is a growing amount of AI reggae slop that I'm coming across. I was going to make this video about a month ago when something I came across and I chose not to do the video. And then something else happened a few weeks after that. And I thought I should do that video and I didn't. And then something else happened again. Three things happened. The third thing happened yesterday. And I thought, right, I'm gonna quickly put this video together and talk about these three things that are concerning me when it comes to AI reggae slop. So the first thing that happened was, what was it? Ah, so I'm starting to notice a increasing amount of YouTube channels dedicated to producing, delivering reggae music that is clearly created by AI. The first giveaway is the thumbnails, which all seem to be these technicolor, brightly colored imagery of Rastas in the Caribbean, on the beach, outside of a wooden shack with a red, gold, and green hat, sometimes with a spliff, sometimes not with a spliff, with a guitar. And then the music that goes along with it is really cheesy, corny, sunshine reggae. Something that I've spoken about in a previous video about Americans playing reggae. Um, and it's almost as if that this AI reggae has been trained on some of this Californian reggae, this Cali reggae. When you are familiar with Cali reggae, you understand what I mean when you hear this AI reggae. It has this same sort of groove to it. I hesitate to use the word groove, this sort of sound. My issue is that it's starting to flood and dominate the timeline of the YouTube, for instance. When you click on it and you look at the comments, there's people on there that think that this is okay. People that say, oh, this is a cool, nice vibe. Maybe it is for some people, but my concern, which I mentioned in my previous video about reggae music, is that the undiscerning or the non-discerning, I'm not sure what the right word is, viewers or listeners go away thinking this is real reggae or even the type of reggae that should be classed as such. And I don't like it. So that was the first thing that sort of alerted me to this reggae slop phenomena. Then about 3 to 4 weeks ago, I came across, well, there's this thing I'm doing. I'm trying to be more intentional about the use of my phone. Like you probably, like we all are, probably on our phones, or I certainly am on my phone far too much. And there's that sort of situation or example where you pick up your phone to do something. Say you want to check a date in your calendar. You pick up your phone and you see that you've got a notification from one of your apps. So you click on that, and then half an hour later, you've been scrolling for half an hour, and you put the phone down and you go do something else, completely forgetting that you actually picked your phone up to do something. So I'm trying to be more intentional and more diligent and focus on my phone usage. So pick it up and go straight to whatever it is I need to use my phone for. So I picked up my phone. Lo and behold, there was a notification on Spotify. Now, I actually had the conversation with myself. Do I continue going where I need to go on my phone, or should I have a quick look at this notification on Spotify? So, of course, I clicked on the notification, clicked on it, and it said new track release from this particular artist. Now, this artist is a big artist in the reggae scene, one of the biggest names, been in the game for decades, top A plus reggae artist. So of course I was keen to see keen to hear what this new track sounded like. Now the song of this artist, I'm going to call this artist S for sugar. And this new track by artist S, there were three elements to it that alerted me to the fact that this could be AI. The first was the almost cliche reggae groove that I would expect from almost Cali reggae, not from this artist. This artist S, knows how to produce and deliver proper, authentic reggae. But yet this sounded a little bit lightweight for this artist. Second, the song structure in terms of the lyrics. AI lyrics or lyrical structure has a certain hallmark, a certain characteristic about it. The AI lyrics will always rhyme, but there's a disregard for they're imbalanced. It's hard to explain, but the structure and the way that the words are put together are quite cold and robotic and don't have feeling, even though they technically rhyme. There's something about the delivery of the words for AI lyrics that's quite a telltale sign. And then the third thing, AI vocals have a certain sound to it, a sound quality or a very high frequency that runs through it. Now, this song didn't have that, but the vocals didn't sound like Artist S. Now, Artist S has been singing and performing for decades and has a very, very distinctive voice sound. This didn't sound like Artist S. So the voice was off, the song lyrical structure was off, and the music feel was off. And that's what alerted me to the possibility of the very strong possibility that this song by Artist S was in fact AI inspired slash generated. So I researched the track and I said, is this track AI? There was nothing on Spotify, nothing on Google to suggest that it was AI. And in fact, it specifically said that it was written and performed by artist S. There was nothing to suggest in my research or from what I gathered that this track was AI. But listening to it, it almost definitely was. Like I say, the music, the song structure, lyric structure, and the sound of the voice not quite matching the artist. And I thought, well, this artist is one of the biggest, one of the most well-known, famous reggae artists. Why would they fake a tune and release it as theirs when it's clearly been inspired by or created by AI? So as I say, that was about 3 weeks ago. And since then, there's been no announcement, no partnership announcement with, say, Suno or one of the other platforms and this artist. So I don't know where that's going, and it's potentially worrying. Um, and the more I listen to AI music, the more I can hear it, and that track sounds like AI. So artist S, I'm not going to reveal their identity today, but I will in the future when I get some more information. And the only thing I will say further in terms of their identity, so we can corroborate it and cross reference the two videos, is that this artist is practically the same age as me. I think they're born in the same year as me. So if and when I reveal this artist S, the identity of artist S, we can check that and you'll know who I'm talking about. But unfortunately, at the moment, I can't reveal their name. And then the third thing that happened was yesterday. I was at home doing some bits and pieces, listening to Spotify. In fact, I was listening to some Black Disciples, listening to an album, and Spotify does that thing when you get to the end of an album, it continues to play other tracks that you may be interested in or you may like or it thinks you may like. And it played a track. Immediately my ears pricked up and I thought, what's this? It had all of the hallmarks of AI. It had that cheesy reggae groove. The frequency and the voice had that high pitched artifact to it, and the song structure, the lyrics had that imbalance, that technically correct rhyming protocol without respecting balance of the writing. It's hard to explain, but once you start listening to it, you won't be able to unhear it. And at that same moment, my daughter came down and I looked at her and I said, "Can you tell?" I said to her, "Can you tell AI music? Can you tell when it's AI?" And she said, "Yeah, I can tell." I said, "How do you know?" She says, "It's got that sound to it." I said, "Do you think this is AI?" And the song was playing in the background. She said, "Yeah." And the song was by apparently an artist called Color Rush. So I Googled it, did my research. There's nothing on Spotify saying that it's AI. And I'll just read to you what happened. So I put Color Rush in Google, including the name of the song. I think it's called Drowning the Noise. Google comes back and describes the song. Drowning the Noise is a laid back instrumental reggae and dub track by the artist Color Rush. It features deep, reverberating bass and acoustic guitar strums. Then I said, "Is this artist slash music AI generated? Question mark. And then Google replied, "Yes, Color Rush is highly likely an AI generated project rather than a traditional human band. Streaming platforms like Spotify are currently facing a massive influx of fully automated synthetic background music designed to generate stream revenue. While platforms rarely tag these tracks explicitly, Color Rush exhibits all the classic markers of an AI ghost artist project." That was the initial response yesterday when I looked at it. I then thought I would get that information and relay it to you today when I was doing this video. So I Googled it again just to check, is Color Rush AI? And then today it said, no, Color Rush is a real music project, though it's easy to see why someone might wonder. So I actually went back. I replied and said, yesterday you said Color Rush was AI generated. And then it replied to me, "Color Rush is definitely a real human music project. If an AI response yesterday stated otherwise, then That was a hallucination and completely incorrect. So AI doing that thing it does when it's called out. AI trying to gaslight me what he said yesterday. The irony is not lost to me that I'm actually using AI to confirm that something is AI. Yeah, that's where we are. Is this track AI generated? This is a new fresh prompt. And then it came back with two answers and asking me to choose, do I want response A or response B? They effectively say the same thing, but they're written in different ways. So response A says, yes, this track is AI generated. Color Rush is an AI generated music project, and the album Southside Joy, including the track Drowning the Noise, was created using generative AI music tools like Suno. So a lot more definitive in its classification of it being AI generated. Then it goes on to say these tracks are part of a growing trend of fully automated ambient reggae and lo-fi background music uploaded directly to streaming platforms to populate focus and relaxation playlists. And then response B was yes, Drowning the Noise by Color Rush is an AI generated track. Yeah. So confirmation of what I already suspected, that this track is AI. So I went on further and asked Google to tell me how I can stop Spotify suggesting AI generated tracks on my playlist. And it said I can go in and click on the artist and say, do not play me any songs from this artist again. Probably you already knew that, but I didn't know that. So I've gone and done that on Color Rush. Continued to play Spotify. I think it played the Dennis Brown song after that. Then the song after that, again, this was clearly a AI generated reggae song. And I turned around at my daughter and I thought, what the hell is going on? And she laughed. I said, does this sound AI generated to you? And she said, yes, absolutely. Again, I Googled the artist. This artist is called Ezra Callow. So I blocked this artist on my Spotify. At this point, I went back to my daughter and I played her the track by artist S, which I don't think she had heard. And I said, does this sound AI to you? And she listened to it and said, yes, it does sound AI. So why does it bother me so much? I think it's because it makes me feel I'm being lied to when I see this bogus AI, when it's presented as real and there isn't a disclaimer or it isn't said up front that this is AI. Someone or an organization or a creator posts the content and walks away as if, and then expects us, the consumer, or us, the viewer, the listener, to just accept it as real content. And that's why I think deep down what's bothering me, the fact that someone's trying to deceive me, and I've just got an innate issue with people trying to get one over on me, and this is what it feels like. And I think that's ultimately where this resistance, this annoyance comes from. And that's how I feel about this music. I feel like Spotify, I feel like, okay, let's not say Spotify. Well, no, I will say Spotify because it's clear Spotify are financially incentivized to promote these AI artists because it makes money for them at the expense of bona fide musicians. So I think that's also another reason why it particularly grates with me. But like I said, let me know your view on this in the comments. Do you think AI is causing a problem with art? Is it going to get better? Is it going to get worse? Have we seen the worst of it? And we need not to, or maybe I am overreacting and need not to worry? Or do we need to put a foot down and actively block these artists on our playlists and YouTube and make more of a fuss about it? Let me know what you think. Until next time, little more.